And welcome back to my shop. Rob from Woodsley Summercraft here. Now today I just got this letter through the mail. It's another sticker for my wall here, and this one is from Mike Atkinson from Illinois. Really appreciate the sticker, Mike, thank you very much. And it's great, he put a note in here as well. He says, Rob, thank you so much for everything, Rob. You are a very talented turner, I don't know about that, and a hell of a friend. Thanks so much, Mike. I really appreciate that, Mike. That's really nice, a nice letter to receive. Thank you very much. I'm going to put that right up here. I'll do that now. There it is. Okay, so the challenge set by Jeff Hornan from Missouri, from the Grit and Shine group on Facebook, was to make a hollow form this month before the 24th of May. So May 2-4 weekend is not this weekend coming, the following weekend. So I've got 2 weeks to get this turned. Well, it's not going to take 2 weeks, I hope. I've got this piece of cedar that I cut myself from a log that I found at the side of the road, and it's aromatic cedar. It smells lovely, and I've turned it before. It's a very stable wood, but I've never really put a shine to it. So I'm actually going to go with a different finish. I'm not going to be using Hampshire sheen. I'm actually going to be using something I've not used before. French polish. It's a padding lacquer, and I've never ever done it before, so it's a first for me. I purchased this at Lee Valley, and I think the disadvantage to this over Hampshire sheen is the amount of work that's going to be involved. I think that this is going to be a lot more work than a Hampshire sheen finish. A Hampshire sheen finish will give you an excellent finish, don't get me wrong. This is just another way of finishing, and I think that the disadvantage, two things I can think of. One, I think it's going to be a very toxic smell. You don't get that with Hampshire sheen. And the other is going to be the time involved. So, but I want to have a go anyway. I purchased it and I've always wanted to try it, and I think that we'll get a good finish on this piece of cedar. So let's just hope for the best. It's going to be a hollow form. It's going to be like a small vase. The idea is to have an onion base with a top that is approximately 2/3 or smaller the size of the base. So let's get this thing mounted to the lathe between centers, turned into a cylinder, and we'll go from there. Okay, so I've got this between centers. It's mounted between centers, missing the tool rest. Tool rest is nice and tight. I'm going to take my roughing gouge and get this into a cylinder. Okay, so I've got my basic cylinder now, and it is 6 3/8 long by approximately 3 inches in diameter. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a tenon at this end to hold in my jaws, and then I'll turn it around and we'll get the outside turned, and then we'll start hollowing it out. I want the top to be 2 inches, which is approximately 2/3 of the largest diameter. So I'm going to bring the top down to approximately 2 inches right now, and then I'm going to smooth that transition. Well, almost immediately I knew that this was a failure. The wood's just too narrow really for me to make the form I was intending on making, and so I've decided instead it's a hollow form failure. It is going to be a weed pot or a twig pot, however you want to call it. So it's been a while since I've made one of those. It's still a beautiful piece of wood, this cedar. So what I'm going to do is I'm just sanding it down now. I'm going to drill a 3/8 hole in the top and give the top some shape, and then I'm going to sand it down to 320 grit. Use Yorkshire grit to get that 1000 grit equivalent finish without all of the dust. And then I am going to still use the French polish. Like I said, I've always wanted to try it. I've never used it yet, so it's going to be a bit of an experiment for me. Let's hope it turns out good. Okay, so I've got the twig pot sanded down to 320 grit and it's pretty even. What I'm going to do now is apply Yorkshire grit and see where we go from there. See how it looks. I do know that cedar is absolutely beautiful, so this should now bring out some of the colour as well as making it very smooth. So I'm just going to apply this by hand, get it all over. And now I'm going to turn the lathe on slow speed and gradually bring the speed up. I'm going to make sure I get all of the wax off now at this point. Till there's no more on the paper towel. Beautiful. Okay, so quickly, the way I understand to do this is to take a piece of padding, as lint-free cloth as possible, and kind of soak that in some kind of an alcohol. I'm going to use a mineral spirit. So I'm going to put some mineral spirit on this, and then I'm going to wrap that in another piece of hopefully lint-free cloth. It's an old t-shirt which has been washed many times. And then after I've doused this with mineral spirit, made a pad with this, then I will put some French polish onto this, and then I will be applying it to the piece. Now my understanding is the mineral spirit will evaporate quickly and leave the finish to dry fairly quickly on the piece. So let's get this thing started. First thing I'm going to do is, I've got an old recycled container out of the recycle bin. I'm going to pour some mineral spirit into it. Not too much, it should be plenty. And actually I'm going to get some gloves on, open this up. Now remember, this is the first time I've used this, so actually I'm going to give it a shake. Here we go. Let that dry. Shouldn't take more than a few seconds really. Well, I've got to say, I lost count how many coats of French polish I put on, but what an amazing shine I'm getting. Absolutely fantastic. It's the glossiest piece I've ever turned. Not a huge fan of highly glossed items, but for a change it's kind of nice. But I'll tell you what, it's an awful lot of work. To put a finish on like this takes many coats of French polish, but it's different and I like it. So basically all I have now to do is to take the foot off, and I'm going to sand the foot off, and then I'll give the bottom a bit of a treatment, and then we'll get this thing finished and show some photographs at the end. And thanks for watching. That was a fun project. Didn't quite turn out the way I planned to begin with. It was supposed to be a hollow form. Turned out to be a twig pot, but it was fun nonetheless, and it gave me an opportunity to try a finish that I hadn't used previously, French polish. I was a little bit cautious as to how it would go on, but it went on quite well. So I don't think I'll use this on many items, just because of the amount of work, the high VOCs and the cost, but it was fun to try it out. So thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe, and I'll show you some photographs at the end once I've got the foot taken off. Thanks for watching. Take care. Bye now. So my largest diameter should be about there. So it's going to curl in from here to a top and then curl in to the... Oh. Shut up. Oh, shut up your face. What's the matter you? Got no respect. What do you think you do? It's a nice face. It's a nice face. Oh, shut up your face. Okay, what am I doing? I don't know. What shape? Because I still have to hollow the bastard out. Okay.